Good evening, friends. I'm John Watchman, and this is Messages from a Cave. Tonight, we're stepping into a conversation that many fear, but few truly understand. A conversation about what happens when the heart stops, when the breath leaves, when the body lets go, and what waits just on the other side of that final breath. You see, we talk a lot here about faith, science, and the mysteries that knit them together, but sometimes the veil between this life and the next fades in a way that leaves a mark you can't shake off. And sometimes people come back. Tonight I'll be sitting down with just such a person. Not a preacher, not a scientist, nor a theologian, just someone who found themselves listening to the flat line of their own heart and stepping into something else. And then returned. I want you to hear it in their words. What they saw, what they felt, and what they remember now that they're back among the living. Some say near-death experiences are just the brain shutting down, firing off a last chemical storm before the lights go out for good. Others say it's the soul remembering what it truly is and where it truly came from. Tonight we aren't here to argue. We're here to listen. So find a quiet place, take a deep breath, and lean in close. You may just find that this story stirs something in you that you've always known, but perhaps, like so many of us, you've tried to forget. Because maybe we've all been there before. Welcome to Messages from a Cave. Let's begin. We're here tonight with James Rollins from Destin, Florida. James, thank you for being here tonight. I know this isn't easy to talk about, but I believe your story might be exactly what someone out there needs to hear.
Thank you, John. It's hard to put into words, but it's something I can't keep inside anymore. I remember lying there in that hospital room, John, and it was like the air turned thick around me. I couldn't pull it in anymore, like my body had forgotten how to breathe. I could hear the machines, the alarms, the rush of feet, but it all felt distant, like I was slipping underwater. They asked me afterward what I saw when I died. The nurse was gentle about it, waiting until the wires were off me, the beeping machines no longer holding me hostage, her eyes soft as she handed me the cup of water I could barely lift. I told her it was like this. I felt cold first, right here, on the back of my hand where the IV was taped down. The saline had been running fine, but something shifted, like frost creeping up my veins. I tried to tell them I couldn't breathe, but the words wouldn't come. The room went thick, like trying to suck air through syrup. Then the light overhead cracked, splitting into these hard, bright edges that danced like glass shards, and I thought, well, this is it, I guess. But there wasn't fear, just a kind of knowing. I heard them say my oxygen was dropping. Then someone's hand on my chest, cold gel, the rasp of the EKG stickers on my ribs. The mask came down, hissing air into me, forcing me to pull in these sharp, dry breaths that rattled in my throat. I heard the monitor. One long, flat scream as I felt my heart stop beating. You'd think you'd panic at that, but I didn't. It was like the world just let go of me and I slipped sideways out of it. I saw them doing compressions from above, the nurse's palms driving into my sternum, ribs popping like sticks breaking underfoot. And then the ceiling was gone. I was in this soft gray place, not light, not dark, just there, weightless, like floating in a warm sea at dawn. No sound, but a hum that felt like it came from inside me and everywhere at once. I knew that place. I don't know how, but I did. Like remembering the smell of your grandmother's house, even if you haven't been there in 40 years. It felt like home. There was a presence. Not a figure, not an angel or some robed being. Just presence. It was me, but not me. It was like remembering who I was before I was me, if that makes sense. It didn't speak in words. It just felt like warmth wrapping around my spirit, like love you don't have to earn. I remember thinking, I don't want to go back, and it let me choose. That's the part I can't shake. It didn't demand. It didn't guilt me, it just showed me my daughter, crumpled in a hospital chair, her face red and wet, my son pacing, fists clenched, not knowing how to say goodbye. My wife, her lips moving, praying, even though she wasn't sure she believed anymore. It waited, and I chose to come back. I didn't want to leave. I really didn't. But I saw them, my daughter, my son, my wife, and I knew I wasn't done yet. I had a choice, and I chose to come back. And when I came back, it was pain. It was fire in my chest, ribs screaming, lungs tearing at the air, the ventilator forced into me. The cold of the fluids returned. The light overhead burned into my eyes. I felt the nurse squeeze my hand. I couldn't speak, but I knew I was here again. And I remember what it felt like to not be afraid, to be whole. And I know it was real, John. It was more real than this table. And I think we've all come from that place, and one day we'll go back. But until then, I'm here to tell people that it's not the end, that there's something waiting, and it's beautiful. People ask me now, do you think it was just the brain dying? But they don't understand. It wasn't like something. It was something. More real than this plastic cup in my hand. More real than the beep of the heart monitor that tells me I'm alive. I know I'll go back there, but not yet. I've got things left to do.
James, thank you for sharing that. I can see it in your eyes. It changed you, and I think the people watching tonight can see it too. If it's all right with you, I'd like to ask what it was that convinced you it wasn't just a hallucination or the brain shutting down. I know many folks out there are wondering that right now.
That's a fair question, John. One I've asked myself, believe me. They tell you it's just chemicals. The brain firing off in a last-ditch light show before the end. And I get why people think that. I really do. But this wasn't like a dream, John. It wasn't foggy or jumble. It was clear. Clearer than I've ever felt here. I could think. I could feel. But without the heaviness. Without the noise we all carry. It was like remembering something I'd always known, but had forgotten the moment I took my first breath. Here. There was a choice. I could feel it like a door open in front of me. And I remembered that I'd chosen to come here before, too. That somehow, before I was ever in this body, I knew what I was stepping into. That there would be pain, confusion, even darkness, and that I'd risk getting lost in it. But even there, on the other side, I still had that choice, that freedom. I wasn't being pulled back against my will, and I wasn't being kicked out either. I saw my wife, my kids, and I knew I couldn't leave yet. And when I came back, John, it was like the world was brighter somehow. Even the pain, the beeping machines, the cold air in my lungs, it was all real, but it wasn't everything anymore. I know it was real because it left a piece in me that hasn't gone away. I know it was real because it fits in a way the world's explanations don't. And I know it was real because I'm not afraid of dying anymore, not even a little. Now I just want to live in a way that honors the chance I was given, the choice I made, and the love that was waiting for me on the other side.
Thank you, James. I can see the peace you're talking about, right here, right now. And I believe there are people watching who needed to hear that tonight. Friends, we'll take a short pause here. When we return, I'm going to ask James what changed for him after this experience, and how we can live in the light of that knowledge, even if we've never walked through that door ourselves. Stay with us. Welcome back to Messages from a Cave. We're here with James Rollins, who's been sharing what it was like to step through the veil and return. James, I'd like to ask, how has this changed you? The way you see your life, your struggles, even your purpose here?
It changes everything, John. Before I was just surviving, bills, work, getting through the day, carrying old regrets like stones in my pocket, thinking they were just part of life. But after coming back, I realized how much of that doesn't matter. Not in the way we think it does. It's not that responsibilities don't matter, but it's how we hold them that changes. I stopped living like I was running out of time and started living like time was a gift I got to open every morning. I also see suffering differently now. Before, I used to ask, why me? Every time something went wrong or when pain came. Now I see it as part of the journey I signed up for. Not that it's good, but that it's not the end of the story, that there's purpose, even in pain, and that the love I felt on the other side is still here, even when I can't feel it in the moment. I take more time to really see people now. My wife, when she's tired but smiles anyway. My kids, even when they're fighting or slamming doors, because they're here, alive, with hearts that are learning how to love. I find myself thanking God for simple things, a warm cup of coffee, a breeze through the trees, the way my dog looks at me like I'm the whole world. And the biggest change, John, is that I'm not afraid anymore. Not of dying, not of living, not of saying I love you first, or of saying I'm sorry. I've learned that what we do here matters because love matters, and it's the only thing we take with us when we go. I don't know why I came back and others don't. I don't know why some people get healed and some people don't. But I do know that none of us are alone even when it feels like we are, and that's enough for me.
Thank you, James, for your honesty and for the peace you've shared with us tonight. I believe you've given many people watching a reason to look at their own lives differently. Friends, you've heard James's story, and you felt the truth in it. Maybe you're struggling with fear. Maybe you're wondering if your life has meaning, or if there's anything beyond this world of pain and noise. I want you to know, you are not alone. You are seen, and you are loved. And there is more waiting for you than you can imagine. If you've had an experience like James's, or if you're wrestling with questions about life and death, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below or reach out through the links provided. This is Messages from a Cave. I'm John Watchman reminding you, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. Good night, friends.